While the Congress and other opposition parties are sharpening their attack on the Narendra Modi-led government at the centre over the Hindenburg-Adani issue, the NCP Supremo, Sharad Pawar, on Friday struck a discordant note, saying there's no need for a JPC. No need for a JPC probe into the allegations levelled by the Hindenburg research against the Indian conglomerate since the Supreme Court is seized of the matter. Sharad Pawar, a former four-time Maharashtra Chief Minister, three-term Union Minister, NCP leader and key Congress ally, has questioned the logic behind demanding a parliamentary probe, that's a JPC, given the BJP's majority. So we're asking tonight on Left, Right and Centre, is this a setback to opposition unity? Is this a blow to the Congress's plan to use the Hindenburg report to target the Prime Minister and the BJP? Is an SC committee better than a JPC? Joining us on the show, R.P. Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Radhika Khera, spokesperson of the Congress, Mahesh Tapasi, chief spokesperson of the NCP, Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the SP, Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist. Thank you all. R.P. Singh, to you first. Mr. Singh, in a democracy, isn't Parliament supreme? If there's nothing to hide, why not a JPC? Why does a court committee preclude a parliamentary committee, sir? Mr. Singh? Okay, we seem to have lost the line with Mr. Singh. Let's try and get him back up. Meanwhile, let's go across to Radhika Khera then. Ms. Khera, you know, Mr. Pawar has a point that the ruling party will in any case dominate a JPC, right? And does the proceeding of a JPC have to be public? So how does a JPC actually help? You'll have the Congress and the BJP just hashing out their arguments. Everybody knows what this is. In the end, the committee will vote in line with the BJP because they have the majority. They have the strength of numbers. Radhika, Ms. Khera, you'll have to unmute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, see, there is no doubt that the Bharatiya Janata Party, the government in power, uses everything to its advantage, whether it is the ED, CBI, or it is the JPC. We know that they're going to do that. But that is not going to stop us from raising the issue. Just because we know that they're not going to do anything. We've seen the Home Minister went on to say yesterday in his speech ki aap jagah bataiye, aap maidan bataiye, do haath kar lete hain. The jagah was there, the parliament. We were asking questions, 4 questions Mr. Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi ji asked him. Nobody from the current government spoke on Mr. Adani. We've been just asking simple questions. Those 4 simple questions, there are no answers. But each and every minister of the government is behaving like a spokesperson of Mr. Adani. And they're trying to just run away from the main issues. I don't understand. If everything is fine, why not a JPC probe? What is the problem? Irrespective of anything.
So yes, we'll go across to our BJP spokesperson, but are we then in agreement that if there is a scam, the actual greater chances of uncovering any alleged scam is likely to be in court?
See, if whatever, the truth has to come out. People need to know. People need to know what the government is up to. People need to know about the scams that are happening. The government has chosen, Mr. Modi was given a second chance by the people of India to work for them, not for Mr. Adani or any one of his friends who have even run away from the country, taking away the money of the people. There were many promises which Mr. Modi made to the country which have not been fulfilled, whether it is bahut hui mehengai ka maar, Modi sarkar, and everything.
Let's get in R.P. Singh. I want to just stick to this, keep this discussion to whether a JPC or a Supreme Court, appointed committee makes more sense. So, R.P. Singh, let me ask you the question, and our Congress spokesperson asked you that question. You know, if there's nothing wrong, if nothing to hide, why not a JPC?
Well, on 2nd of Feb, probably on 1st of Feb, the news is of 2nd of February, all political parties, including Mr. Khadge, who was leading that, said Adani saga reaches Parliament. This is news from the Times Now, probably not your channel, and Deccan Herald also, which says that they are asking for JPC or Supreme Court monitored probe. And it was their member of Parliament who went to the court, seek the probe into that. Supreme Court has designated some 6 expert members to probe into it. If they are not satisfied with the scope of the probe, they can go again to the court and say that you please expand the scope of the court. That's the answer. And also on JPC, let me read out what do Mr. Manmohan Singh ji has to say. This is your report only, dated 26 April 2010. Mr. Manmohan Singh, then Prime Minister, said there is no need of JPC on telephone tapping issue. Then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji said, because it leads to no conclusion. But that's his statement. I'm going through the Google and did the Google search right now, and it's Manmohan Singh ji's quote. So, but nothing against JPC as such, but since the matter is under the preview of the court
lead
now,
to no
Supreme Court,
conclusion.
let
We
the
had
Supreme Court
Radhika
decide.
Khera point out the chances of uncovering a scam are probably higher at a Supreme Court committee. But is the BJP scared of this issue being debated or discussed in Parliament? Because you can refute the Congress's arguments in Parliament or in a committee.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has raised certain issues in the Parliament. Only thing with the Speaker of the House said that whatever you're saying, please sign that as a document so that you stand by that. Because if you say something in the Parliament, you can't run away from that. It's not scoot and shoot like a policy which can happen. So, if he has said something in the Parliament, he should have stood by that and given that document. Yes, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these Adani and whatever he want to say, he should have signed that documents and said and given in writing.
Okay.
Secondly.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Who's running out of, give me a second. Give me a second.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
And also, who's running from the debate? I mean, it was the opposition which didn't allow the debate to happen in the second part of the budget session. And also, a man goes and speaks in foreign land, seeks intervention of the foreign countries. That democracy is being killed.
How has he sought intervention of a foreign country?
Is not functioning properly.
Let's stick to the facts. What he said in foreign lands is that they're not being allowed to speak in Parliament, which is the case.
Please, can I say something?
Go ahead, sir, but stick to the facts.
He said, can I now speak?
Go ahead, sir. There's a delay. You'll have
how
to
can
speak.
you stay oblivious? No. How can you be oblivious of what's happening in India? What does it mean? Please explain that. I mean, I'm bad at English. Probably I can understand the English word oblivious. So he was saying that how can you stay silent? How can you stay quiet? How can you can't react on what's happening in India or democracy in India?
Okay.
And also, Jairam Ramesh is give me another second. Jairam Ramesh is on record saying that we don't believe in Supreme Court. We don't believe in the committee of the Supreme Court. We don't believe in the local court which gave decision against Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Mr. Singh,
So,
we have a whole show, so I'll
also.
come back to you. We want to get to each of your points one after the other, RP Singh. But Radhika Khera, now, as you know, Mr. Singh points out, as we all know what happened in Parliament, and then the Congress alleges Rahul Gandhi was not allowed to speak. The coverage was cut off. If you have this investigated and looked into under the Supreme Court, then there's no one who can influence them, right? And we can't. At least we'll do away with all these complaints.
See, a Supreme Court monitored expert committee will lack the jurisdiction over the investigative agencies, and its scope does not include examining the Prime Minister's role in enriching Mr. Adani. That is a very important thing. And why are they? I will again repeat. If there is nothing wrong that has been done by Mr. Modi in enriching Mr. Adani, why run away from a JPC? You should be open to any form of investigation. Why are you so scared? See, वो कहावत है हिंदी में, दाल में कुछ काला है. Obviously, that is why, because the way they are running away. Have a discussion, and I don't know what proceedings that the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson has seen. Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji was not allowed to speak in Parliament, and every time we've just been asking for
but
questions.
I still think why is it either or, why can't it be both? The other big question we're asking on LRC is this crusade against Adani and pointing out the facts of the findings of the Hindenburg report a lone crusade by Rahul Gandhi, or is the opposition willing to back him up? Let's bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the SP. Ghanshyam Tiwari, how much of this is due to Rahul Gandhi's personal obsession is probably how the BJP will put it, with proving rightly or wrongly that Prime Minister Modi is corrupt, right? First you had the Congress talking about the Chaukidar Chor Hai slogan last time. It didn't seem to work. Now you have them hammering away on the Adani issue. Where does the opposition stand? Where do you stand? Where does your party stand on this issue? And would you rather fight against the Prime Minister on other issues?
Good evening, Sarah, to you, the viewers and the fellow co-panelists. Three things are important. One, when the Adani issue sprang up with the Hindenburg report, the BJP spokespersons who otherwise appear on television at the drop of the hat vanished from the television. For a week, there was not a noise, not a word from the BJP spokespersons, its ministers, its members of parliament. Why did they vanish? Second, when the Prime Minister got a chance to speak in Parliament, he spoke for 3 hours between the two houses. And unfortunately, BJP members, all they could do was to thump the bench with Modi, Modi, Modi when questions were asked. And in response, the Parliament reverberated with Adani, Adani, Adani. The Prime Minister had enough opportunity to respond point blank. One, that Adani Group did not contribute to BJP in the last 20 years. Two, he did not contribute to the rise of Adani Group. As Jawahar Sarkar in the parliament last year said, that Mr. Adani, when he took the flight with the Prime Minister in 2014, his net worth was 47,000 crore, his group's. And in January 2023, it was roughly 11 lakh crores. This is not a magic wand. So the Prime Minister could have simply said that he did not contribute to this rise. And third, he could have said that Mr. Adani did not accompany him before, after, on his trips. Instead, the Prime Minister decided to ensure that the Parliament does not function. This is the first government that you and I know which repeatedly, when it is questioned,
my question is still, where do you stand on this? Do you, both your party and as an opposition, believe that this is the issue to take the government on in 2024, or are there other issues? Misuse of CBI, ED, weakening of democracy. Is this the issue? Does this unite the opposition is the question?
Well, the first thing that is uniting us opposition is a government deciding to lock down the parliament. Why should the parliament not function? Why should an elected government who's boasting of winning in 2024 the same seats in parliament decide not to allow parliament to function, where it has a majority, where the Prime Minister is an excellent orator, can outspeak over everyone because they are scared? So this is an important issue. Second, why should LIC, SBI and later Bank of Baroda fall on the feet of this group? If the group is going down, its background is malicious, companies like Total Energies are saying that they will wait till the probe results are happening. Supreme Court is probing. The fact that the entire BJP and RSS is bending over backwards, flying the tricolor, saying that attacking Adani is attacking India, is not only shameful, but it shows that they are hand in glove with this group.
Okay.
As a result, this is an important issue that JPC must probe on.
All right. Neeraj Chaudhary, you've been covering politics for decades. Can you explain to our audience, why does a JPC serve no purpose? Mr. Pawar says, what is the need for a JPC probe when the Supreme Court has already set up a committee that has an expert administrator, it has an economist, they're all working under a retired Supreme Court judge. So why does JPC serve no purpose? Isn't, as I said before, Parliament supreme in our democracy, a democracy?
I think there are two things here. One, Mr. Pawar saying that a majority government will manipulate, that's not the word he used, but will manage to have a finding which favors it. Words to that effect. You know, what came to my mind was, does that mean the JPCs in the past were fixed by the government of the day? You know, the implication of what Mr. Pawar has said, very, very serious. Now, the other thing is that the Supreme Court inquiry has a limited mandate. It's essentially about SEBI. There are many other issues that have been raised by opposition leaders about which they are worried.
Okay.
And, you know, even if the JPC's finding goes for the government, during the course of the inquiry, the members of the committee ask for papers. They can ask for papers and government has to provide them. And that itself brings all kinds of issues into the public domain.
Okay.
And the third point, I agree with people, you know, Parliament not to discuss an issue about which the opposition, rightly, wrongly, there may be no substance in the charges, are so agitated. I mean, this is the role of Parliament to discuss these issues. And the government can have its say, the government can manage perception, the government, can handle this.
Okay, so
And
whether
surely
or
I
not
think-
there is going to be an outcome, if we're going to actually find out whether there was a scam committed or not, this is about propriety. This is the reason why we have a parliament, is what he's just saying. But can we just ask you this? Why can't it be both? Why is it either or? Can it not be both? Ms. Chaudhary, Neeja Chaudhary.
Yeah, you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, say that again. The
We're
voice
just asking,
went.
can it not be both? Is it always either or?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely, why can't it be both?
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right.
valid
So let me just
question.
ask you now one other question. Does this create Mr. Pawar's stand? Does it create a piquant situation for the Congress and the opposition?
Look, today the buzz in Bombay is of disappointment, having talked to many people.
Okay.
Mr. Sharad Pawar is amongst our tallest leaders today, amongst our most experienced political figures.
And you
We've
will
seen a
need his
lot.
heft if the opposition is going to come
For-
together.
For him to visibly, openly distance himself from the stand of the opposition, 19 parties, is a setback for the opposition.
But he waited till
And
Parliament
does it
ended,
mean-
right? He waited till the session
Yeah,
ended
but now,
before
you
he
see,
made these
yeah.
divergent views public? What does that suggest to you?
Well, the timing of it is also being talked about, and the question mark that's being raised is, does this mean a realignment of political forces? I don't think so, because the MVA in Maharashtra, according to surveys done by, the opposition, done by also, internally by the BJP from what one hears, gives MVA, a lead over the BJP as of today in terms of public opinion. So why would Mr. Sharad Pawar, want to break away? But yes, it has created a psychological setback, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be, and there is huge disappointment.
A psychological setback, a huge disappointment. We don't know what the outcome. But Mahesh Tapasi, please come in over here. Mr. Pawar is an old hand at this game. This is just going to lead to more speculation that the alliance is in trouble, and maybe won't be the first time Sharad Pawar allies goes back to an alliance with the BJP. You're already in alliance in Nagaland.
Good evening, Sarah, and all panelists and viewers. Let me assure you and all the rest of the country that the alliance of the Congress, NCP, and all other opposition parties is here to stay. We are going to collectively fight the BJP in 2024 general elections. And what Mr. Pawar has said vis-a-vis the Supreme Court monitored expert committee and the proposed JPC, he said the outcome of the Supreme Court monitored committee will be faster and better. This is the experience that Mr. Pawar has said as a long standing experience in the parliament. So it is not he's trying to shield Mr. Adani. He has categorically said, I think on your channel itself, that if Adani has done something wrong, he'll pay the price, and there is no reason to shield him. But just to malign somebody on some report which has originated out of India and to stall the proceedings of the parliament later on subsequently by the government on Rahul Gandhi's issue.
Okay.
This is not required because parliament has to function, debate has to happen.
I just want to bring in Radhika Khera. Are you willing to admit, Mr. Pawar is a senior politician, he's an astute politician. The message he's sending out here that don't attack the Prime Minister directly, focus on local issues. Are you willing to say that there is a lesson worth listening to there?
There is actions speak louder than words. Irrespective of what Sharad Pawarji has said on JPC right now, his party has stood with the Congress in its demand for JPC. So that is clearly the stand of the NCP. He has raised his issues. He has raised what he wants to say.
Is that Mr. Pawar's personal opinion, or is that now the party's opinion?
No,
Hold on,
what
one
he
second.
feels about the JPC.
Yeah, I just want to double check that with the Mahesh Tapasi.
Mr. Pawar has said that the outcome of the Supreme Court monitored expert committee would be having a better implication as far as this.
No, but is the NCP now saying that because there were 20 parties before, now there are 19 parties? No, you disagree?
No. I think when this entire JPC thing was happening, I think NCP was also part of it. But it is the opinion of Mr. Pawar that
Okay.
expert committee will give better result than a JPC.
Okay,
this is
go
what
ahead.
Mr. Pawar has said.
All right. Thanks,
And
Radhika. Go ahead. I just wanted to clarify
disagree.
that. Go ahead, Radhika.
Just one
So,
minute.
like I said-
I'll come back to
want
Mr.
disagree
Mahesh. Let
with
Radhika
some-
finish.
Okay.
Mahesh Tapasi, just let Radhika finish. Go ahead, Radhika.
Like I said, his party has stood with the Congress in the demand for JPC, and 20 like-minded opposition parties, again including the NCP, are united in saving the constitution of the country, saving the democracy of the country by the assault that the Bharatiya Janata Party government led by Narendra Bhai Modi ji is assaulting the country on. Like I said, now yes, the issues of price rise, issue of other issues that Pawar ji has raised are also extremely very important. But on the side as well, the corruption needs to be highlighted. We need to know the answers. Why was he helped? Why was he taken on all trips when he travelled abroad? Where all the money came from, 20,000 crore rupees came from? Those questions need to be investigated. Those answers are needed. And again, I will say, agar dar nahi hai, if the Bharatiya Janata Party has no involvement and they have not helped Mr. Adani become where he is today, and there is no conspiracy, why are they running away from it? They should be open to 20 types of probes.
Okay,
They should say,
Mahesh
ye bhi kar lo,
Tapasi,
wo
you
bhi
wanted
kar lo,
to
ye
make
bhi
your
kar lo.
point.
No, Mr. Pawar has just said that instead of a JPC, he is not saying we are not opposing the JPC. The narrative which has been said by some different channels is totally against what has happened. He said that expert committee will give faster result as far as the JPC is concerned. Now the question is who will pass the motion? The motion has to be passed as far as JPC is concerned. It has to be passed in both the houses of the parliament. We have parliamentarians also and senior journalists also, and you also know that. So all these things will take some time, and real issues facing the country, whether it's the agrarian crisis or the price rise or the rising unemployment. See, these issues will not get any space as far as the discussion in the budget session of the parliament is concerned. So as a very candid interview on your channel, I think he said that he feels that the Supreme Court monitored expert committee will be more beneficial as far as finding out the real truth behind the report which has originated in a foreign land. And now there are experts. It's a retired Supreme Court judge is there, Mumbai High Court judge is there, retired chairperson of SBI is there, then Mr. Nandan Nilekani is there. So all these people are there, all technocrats and well versed with the procedure of the law in the country, and hence will await their report. Apart from this, the SEBI, what are the allegations? There is allegation of stock manipulation. There is allegation of accounting fraud. This is what Hindenburg has said. And now who is Hindenburg? Hindenburg is a short seller. What does it mean? That person who makes money by shorting futures of the company. So there are two ways. Either you buy stock and make money, or you sell stock and make money. So
Hindenburg stands to gain, and they did gain at the end of this outcome. But
Exactly.
again, as Nija
So
points out, as Ghanshyam Tiwari points out, the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court committee doesn't cover, let's say, if the Prime Minister is involved, which is what the Congress is alleging. Nija Chaudhary, I want to go back to you. We're going to be out of time soon. Does this prove that you can have an opposition? Do we need an opposition unity where they're completely united, or can they have disparate views on certain issues and still be together and take on productively the BJP in 2024?
Well, certainly it's possible. They cannot have similar views on every subject. Otherwise, there would be one party. The fact that there are different parties shows that they have differences. But say in Maharashtra, for instance, I think that they will have to evolve a common narrative. If the Congress is going to attack Savarkar, which the Shiv Sena has objections to, and if the Congress is going to attack Adani, which NCP has problems with, so then they have to find a common narrative, which they don't seem to have at the moment. So there are problems of opposition unity, but given the fact that they're all at the receiving end of many things from the government, and a lot is at stake, that the imperative, the need to get together is also very pressing. So that will also drive that whole process. So let's see where it goes.
Well, there are problems in opposition unity. That is the understatement of the year and the big story we're all going to be debating up to 2024. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time tonight on Left, Right and Centre.